Pro. Hello, Mark. I'm doing very well, thank you. Can you hear us?
I can hear you very well. Can you hear me?
We can. Let me just see if our mic is working here. Yep, that's on. Can you hear it out the back?
Not really. No.
Hello, everyone. I can't see you right now, but hello.
One second, Dr. Crane. I'm going to speak. I'm going to turn this around a bit and see if you can see the people. Is that working?
Yeah, this is working, but it's not picking up much from...
Now I can see everyone.
Let's give Dr. Crane a warm welcome from Genesis Mining. Yes, we're going to try and fix the sound a bit. Make sure the sound is up high here. Yeah, one minute, please. It's not 100%. Where does the sound come out? Okay. Hello there. No problem. Thank you. Okay, Dr. Crone, thank you for taking the time, Marco, for joining us this Sunday.
Pleasure. Thank you for the invitation. Even if it's virtual, I'm happy to be there.
Yeah, well, it would have been great to have you here, but we understand that you know, your demands and what's been happening on this exciting you know, space of the crypto world is very, very busy at this particular time. Now, because we have lots of questions here, of course. Can people hear us up the back there?
I don't think so, but it's very quiet to the back.
Okay, any ideas how we can fix this sound here? Anyone?
Is there your external speaker you can plug in?
Is the volume turned up on this?
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
I'm not talking at the moment, so
No, it's okay.
talking it helps for kind of working it. But I'm also, of course, not hearing anyone from the audience, so in case someone has a question, you might have to repeat it.
No problem. Well, let's start with yourself, Dr. Crone. How are you, as a banker and a professional at your field, transitioned into, of course, Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency space? I mean, I'm sure it's an interesting story.
Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, it's quite funny because normally I'm asked, I studied physics, and normally people used to ask me, why are you as a physicist at a bank? And now people ask me, how did it come that you moved from a bank to cryptocurrency? So, actually, oh, yeah. Actually, the stories are linked a little bit, and I hope you can hear me right now. So, my background is actually from theoretical/mathematical physics. So, I have a PhD in mathematical physics. And after that, I worked for some time for an investment bank. But I never really can, I think I'm not the kind of standard investment banker. I'm always got more interested into the technology and how things really work. And although I learned quite a lot in the investment bank, after some time it became a little boring. And by chance, I found the Bitcoin. I read a news article about virtual currencies. And at that point in time, actually, it was the most boring thing I could imagine. Virtual currencies were not really interesting to me. However, at the end, I started reading this article and I thought, wow, what is bullshit? Because, sorry for the wording here, but I thought, like, okay, an anonymous guy creates a virtual currency on his own and you can even print your own money. This didn't make any sense to me, neither as an economist nor from my mathematical physical perspective. So, but nevertheless, I mean, all of us have been wrong before, so the next day I continued reading the article. Actually, I saw it first maybe in a Prince school, and I checked the news magazine. I closed the news magazine and checked if it's maybe the April issue, but it wasn't. It was kind of June 2012. So the next day I continued reading, and the more I read about it, and then I looked up Bitcoin in the Wikipedia, and the more I read about it, and the more of the concepts I understood, I was completely blown away. And after like 2 or 3 days, I switched from this is completely nonsense to wow, this is one of the most amazing and interesting concepts ever since the invention of the internet. It took me like 3 days or so to really understand the basic concept. I mean, you never fully understand Bitcoin, right? It's kind of, someone claims to understand quantum mechanics. Yeah, it takes a long time, and most people really don't fully understand it. So at least I have a good understanding now about Bitcoin and about cryptocurrencies. Then I met, here in Munich, I met Marco Streng and Jakob Bullic, the co-founders of Genesis Mining, and together we decided, okay, let's do a little bit more than just buying and selling Bitcoin. That's a little bit boring. Let's add something to the ecosystem. And we found at some point in time, we found that mining was profitable. And actually, we had not Genesis Mining in mind at that point. We kind of just buying 6 GPUs and we're mining Litecoin. At that point in time, GPUs were used for mining Litecoin. So that was something where we saw like, okay, yeah, you can really earn money with mining. And the next step was to think about, okay, how can we make it bigger? How can we scale it up? Because 6 GPUs is 9, but 600 GPUs is so much better. And by chance, Jakob had a friend in Bosnia who had an empty warehouse, and he had electricity, so that was really great. So we said like, okay, let's take the opportunity, let's seize the opportunity and do something about it. So we went to the shop, we founded the company and told them, okay, give us all the GPUs you have. And at that point in time, getting GPUs, graphic cards, really was hard already because everyone wanted to have GPUs. So we ended up with having like 15 different types of GPUs and 5 different types of mainboard and so on. That was a complete mess from our today's perspective. But nevertheless, we got shipped all the stuff to Bosnia, built our first mining farm, which took a lot of time. So it's, people have no idea how much time it costs to build all these mining rigs. And then in the end, we had this impressive room full of, I think, like 1,200 or so. And then some people came by, and friends of the friend of Jakob and so on, and they looked at this and said like, oh, what is this? A room full of hardware and computers and all the humming and the noise of the machines and the hot air. What are you doing here? And we said, yeah, we're printing money. And they said like, what? I said, yes, we are printing money. This is crazy. We don't understand it, but we would like to participate. So actually, from that point on, people, or we understood, okay, there seems to be some sort of market for people that would like to mine, that would like to kind of generate new cryptocurrencies. And we started kind of not only selling to these people and give them a share in the mining farm, but to also open a website and to sell shares of the mining farm or of the computational power to other persons and other people that are interested in mining. That's how it all started. Yeah.
It's a great story, of course, Marco. Thank you so much for sharing that. I mean, it's very, very exciting times. It's in this disruptive technology. It's still very early stages, of course. I mean, for yourself, it may seem not so early with the risks of tens of millions and probably even much more than that invested, and the risk associated with all that. But how do you see global regulation affecting Bitcoin, etc.? Do you have any idea, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, sure. Let me first add to the first sentence you just had, kind of very early. Yes, you are absolutely right. All of us are very early in this game because there's like, say, 6-7 billion people out there, and only a very, very small fraction of the people so far have access to Bitcoin, have access to cryptocurrencies. And you have the right mindset here if you say kind of we are early in this game, because we are early. Usually I also heard people like, oh, I would have started like 5 years ago when Bitcoin was worth just $1. That would have been, it's not like this. The same people would have said like 5 years ago, oh, this $1 cryptocurrencies, I would not have invested. Yeah. At the end of the day, everyone was late except for Satoshi Nakamoto. Satoshi Nakamoto, the inventor of Bitcoin, of course, he was right there in time. Everyone else was late. All of us actually, but early in this game, as you correctly said. About regulation, when I started in 2012 with Bitcoin, there was no regulation, more or less all over the world, there was no regulation. And that, from a business perspective, that's the worst which you can imagine. So you neither know you're in the white area or in the black area, you are just in unknown territory. And I'm rather want to have regulation which clearly tells me, okay, this is allowed, this is not allowed, than being in the dark. So over time, some countries have been a little bit hostile towards Bitcoin. Some have been more friendly, like Switzerland, for example. And another one, like Japan, was not so friendly at the beginning about Bitcoin, but gradually it changed. And if you look all over the world, most countries actually moved a little bit to a more friendly environment for Bitcoin. There was certain exceptions, but most countries really are friendly towards Bitcoin. Yeah, like Japan, South Korea. There was a kind of up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down in China, so they are still undecided. Germany has some regulation, but it makes it a little bit tricky. Switzerland has a very friendly regulation, in particular the canton of Zug has a very friendly approach towards cryptocurrencies. And I'm very optimistic that at the end of the day, most countries will settle on something which is friendly, because fighting Bitcoin is something which doesn't make too much sense. It's kind of like fighting people, how's it called, these peer-to-peer networks that were used to copy music and videos. Of course, you can try to fight this, but at the end of the day, everyone from a technical point of view knows you can't really stop it, right? And Bitcoin is exactly designed in such a way that you can't stop it on technical ground. Of course, you can kind of shut down the whole internet, like North Korea, but most people are, or most nations are reasonable enough, and they say, like, okay, Bitcoin is a new technology, blockchain is a very, very interesting technology, and we don't want to miss out that the whole world goes for blockchain and Bitcoin and Ethereum. And we are the only country here next to North Korea who has strong restrictions on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. That doesn't make sense in the long run. So I'm very optimistic that most countries at the end of the day will adopt some form of friendly regulation, but there will be regulation like KYC, AML, and so on. And this is okay.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. I agree with you. And getting back to the early adopters, people who may have bought it for $1, in truth, they probably would have sold it for $1.05 or $1.10 or $1.50, because no one knew it was going to go to $50 or $20 or to even touch on 5,000. And that's where we are today. So I totally agree with you. We all want to thank Dr. Crane also and Genesis Mining, of course. We're not going yet, Marco, for the Bitcoin push we did yesterday. All of our people for the pre-orders are very, very happy with that, and the bonuses that were paid, so we're very grateful for that. Which brings up the issue, of course, one, the difficulty rate. Where do you see the difficulty rate? And this where your technology now, I've had the pleasure of going to your farms and learned a little bit about your technology. There's no question about it. You're a major force in your rigs and the technology, the chips that you use, the power, electrical source. But of course, in between technology, how is that going to counteract an increasing difficulty rate and hence the payouts to the people as the adoption increases, Marco?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So the design of mining is in such a way that the mining kind of relates to or follows in some way the economic situation of Bitcoin or of Ether or whatever underlying crypto coin. So let's say the Bitcoin price doubles, then Ether makes a lot of money, right? Because the coins you earn, there is a certain piece of cake you earn every day, and if it's kind of more worth, like price increased by a factor of 2, you make a lot more money because your electricity costs are fixed. So in such a situation, in any economy, in any free economy, people would say like, okay, there is sort of free money I can make, or quite easily make a profit here, so let's invest in mining. And this is what we see, kind of the mining difficulty always follows the price. That's number one. Point number 2 is, sometimes, and this is actually more like a year ago or 1.5 years ago, there was new technology, which is far superior to the old technology. The interesting thing here is that, for example, for Bitcoin, we are now very close to what is technologically wise possible, because Bitcoin uses a specialized chip which we call the ASIC or the ASIC miners, and they are kind of either produced now on 14 or on 16 nanometers. So all the producers of the hardware will use 40 nanometers or 60 nanometers. There will be that kind of these nanometers kind of relate to the size of the transistors in these ASIC chips. Now there will be in the future, like say like in 1 year, there might be another step coming forward. It will roughly take 1 year from now, which will give you somewhat better equipment. But we are very, very close to this barrier. The third thing is how much equipment is available in the market. So even if there is a huge demand for, and people say like, oh, mining is just profitable, like for Ether mining or for Bitcoin mining, you still need to get the hardware. And you might have seen that, you might have heard that kind of buying equipment right now is extremely difficult because whatever is in the market participants will immediately buy it. We are in the lucky situation that we have direct access to all the top managements of all the hardware manufacturers, be it AMD, be it NVIDIA, be it some ASIC producers of Bitcoin mining hardware. So we have best possible access. But still for us it's difficult. You have seen that. Bitcoin mining hardware, we had a batch for October 31st. And within basically 2 days or so, this batch was completely sold. And what we did not do, I mean, we could easily say like, okay, there's so much demand in the market, let's double or triple the price. We decided not to do it. Kind of, we always say, kind of, we are pricing on the purchase price of the hardware and the price of the electricity, so we kept our pricing. But it's kind of a upper limit here, how much the difficulty can grow, because it's now very much limited by the amount of miners that can be built by the manufacturers, and they are really lagging behind. Otherwise, the difficulty would increase further. It's always this kind of difficulty will follow the price. And I imagine that going forward, now speaking of 2018, Bitcoin won't stop at $4,000 or $4,500. I'm pretty optimistic that cryptocurrencies in general, that are now around 100 billion, will grow further. There's so much ahead of us, so mining will not stand still. Mining will also grow, but on the other hand, the pricing, of course, will also go to the north.
Okay, thank you. That's great news for all of us here, of course. On the mining and the technology side of things, on the demand and supply of getting the hardware, I mean, the people here, of course, who wants to buy Bitcoin mining? And just like the Genesis team, Genesis, you've got your clients to look after as well, of course. I mean, I'm sure their question is the same. What is the plan? What is the expectation for more Bitcoin mining becoming available, Marco?
Yeah, that's a very good question. We hope to get another batch, but it will probably have mining start date either end of November or mid-December. That's how it is. As I said, kind of, it's really difficult at the moment to get the quantity in the market from the manufacturers because there is such a huge demand for Bitcoin mining. And there might be even kind of now another coin also coming, and another fork of Bitcoin. I think it's named Bitcoin Gold, which might be GPU mineable. So also in the GPU sector, it's quite difficult, but we are in a better situation here because you might even heard that in the news that the NVIDIA and AMD announced that building enough cards for the gamers actually becomes difficult because the miners are buying all the GPUs right now. So demand is really, really high for both for GPUs and for ASIC miners. So we hope by the end of the year there will be another batch, but yeah, I cannot really give the exact numbers right now.
Okay, thank you, Marco. I'm going to okay, it's probably what they all didn't want to hear, but we understand the scalability and the demand and supply. It's a complex issue, of course, and we have to build upon this. But great thing is we're in great communication with you, and we appreciate you keeping us informed. I'm just going to see if the audience has any specific questions for you, Marco, and maybe we touch on You spoke about Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Classic. Will the mining switch over? Do you think there's a preference of switching over, or you'll just follow what the global demand is, or the adoption for a particular Bitcoin will do?
I think personally, I mean, there's been this long discussion about people that want to have small blocks or big blocks, and kind of it's an ongoing discussion how to scale Bitcoin at the end of the day. Personally, I'm quite happy that these people now fork off Bitcoin, so they produce their own Bitcoin Cash sort of coin. I think this takes some of the pressure of this ongoing discussion, which turns sometimes toxic. So instead of two sides fighting over years, I would rather say if the two sides say like, okay, it doesn't work, let's split up, let's go in different directions, and let the market decide which project is more valuable at the end of the day. I think this is a great approach, and we have seen this before actually also in Ethereum, where the fork price and Ethereum Classic arrived. And what our experience or what we have learned from that is that this is not a bad thing, such a fork, but actually it kind of adds value because this friction, because of fighting between the two camps, is reduced. People can kind of develop their version. And this is what we now see also. Bitcoin exists, Bitcoin Cash exists, and it's an extra $400, $500, because for every Bitcoin I have, there is now also one Bitcoin Cash. So I'm not afraid of hardware forks at all. When it comes to mining, that's also a lesson learned from Ethereum, because the market will kind of see, okay, if there's an opportunity in mining Ether Classic or Ether, they will kind of switch their mining rigs. If you have a few mining rigs, you might make a buck, yeah, you make a few dollars more. If you have like tens of thousands of mining rigs, you will distort the market and the mining too much in order to really effectively make money. But the market is efficient, and this works perfectly well in Ether and now in Bitcoin Cash. So miners kind of will divide up in such a way that it reflects the difference in the pricing. That's what we have seen here. So actually it's also good from a miner's perspective, because the miners that go away and that switch over, for example, to Bitcoin Cash, allow the Bitcoin miners to earn a little bit more of the cake and earn a little bit more money. So that's a great thing.
Okay, Marco, and you touched on Ether, Ethereum. I mean, it's number 2 in market cap. I think it's got 35 to 40 billion in market cap today. And we hadn't looked at the calculators, payout calculators, probably 3 months ago. Ethereum was probably estimating 2 or 3 times your monetary return on Ethereum compared to Bitcoin was probably a bit of a break-even sort of scenario. But that's reversed now. Of course, the hot topic is, of course, Bitcoin, and Ethereum's pulled back. But what's your view on Ethereum?
Ethereum is a very, very interesting project. Bitcoin actually is a system which is 2 things. Let me first explain one thing about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is actually 2 things. It's a payment system which allows me to move tokens around which are called Bitcoin. So it's kind of the name of the currency, but it's also kind of the payment system that allows me to track the ownership of these tokens which we call Bitcoin. Now, naturally you will ask the question, wouldn't it make sense to also track the possession of other items, yeah, like stocks, bonds, the possession of some sort of land, a car, or whatever? Yeah, so all kind of things might come into your mind where you say, yeah, it would actually make sense to have more of this kind of Bitcoin-like systems. So the alternative would now be to, for every token you have in mind, to create your own blockchain and issue coins and have mining and da. That's quite complicated, also quite inefficient, because if you want to interact with these coins, like you want to pay for using a car, or you want to switch your currency into some stocks of some company or whatever, it becomes inefficient because you have to do it between 2 different blockchains. Now, the genius idea here actually is that Ethereum kind of said like, let me put it this way. Blockchain technology is actually a tool which can be used to eliminate trust into a third party. So whenever I want to do some sort of business, I normally want to need a third party as a trustee. this trust costs money, takes time, is inefficient, and maintaining this trust is difficult. Ethereum provides a very elegant solution here that Ethereum says kind of, okay, we are the one blockchain, and you can kind of do all kind of transactions on this one blockchain. Be it Ether as a native token, or you can create arbitrary many different other types of tokens that have different characteristics, and you can use a high-level programming language. That's another difference to Bitcoin. Bitcoin has a very low-level programming language, so it almost feels like programming assembler, while Ethereum has a very high-level programming language. So you can easily write smart contracts which explain how these new tokens behave. And by that you can do amazing things and create so much additional value. So to answer your question, I think the long-term value of Ethereum, it's also a more complicated product, but the long-term value of Ethereum, if they kind of succeed from a technical perspective to really deliver that, and they're on a very, very good way with that, then the long-term value of Ethereum should be very high in my opinion, because it can do what Bitcoin can do, but it can do amazing other things like decentralized prediction markets, you can buy computer power for calculation, and so on, that I see like, okay, this is some form of new internet where it's not yet clear what kind of future applications we will see. So Ethereum, in my opinion, has a very great value.
Thank you, Mark. I've got a few questions here. I'm going to just go through them. I know we have about another 15 minutes of your time until you've got to have to go. Is the mining going to slow down soon? Well, I suppose the answer to that I would expect is probably no. I mean, the availability of mining hardware has already slowed because demand is full, but yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of, the mining is normally slowing down only if the price goes down significantly. All the miners are acting in a very economical and very rational way, so they will not invest in the mining equipment if the price doesn't allow for that. So you have two components. You have the cost of the hardware plus the electricity prices, but it kind of only spend that and that much money if you kind of see that in the future you will get this money back. So I don't think that the mining is going to slow down. By the way, the second reason is, of course, but this is all taken into account if there is a block halving taking place, but the block halving is quite far away. And on the other hand, actually, if we are now talking about Bitcoin, the transaction fees are now substantially higher. Yeah, so in the past, like years ago, there was almost no transaction fees, and now miners also kind of earn more and more stable transaction fees. In addition to that, we have in Bitcoin the segregated witness, which is now enabled, which effectively allows us to have a little bigger blocks, which is also good for the transaction fees. And in addition to that, as I said before, we have Bitcoin Cash, so some of the hash rate is also going to Bitcoin Cash. Overall, the mining will not reduce, so the mining capacity all over the world will increase, certainly. And given that the price of Bitcoin probably will also go up, I don't see that anything is going to slow down here.
Okay, I'm going to come back to the sustainability of the model, I suppose, Marco, because this is probably the question everybody would like to probably know, and maybe it's something you can't actually really answer because it's hypothetical. But of course, when Bitcoin mining becomes available again, what sort of supply are you looking at? I mean, you've got an expanding exponential membership yourself, fantastic story, Genesis, well, I think with over 1.3 million members right now. You have people such as Swiss Gold Global having the privilege of selling your products and services, and other companies as well. So how's Genesis going to handle that?
So we are trying to be fair here. So there is no behind the doors closed deals, or there is no kind of everything is available on our website first or whatever. If a new product is available, everyone will more or less have at the same point in time have access to that. There is unfortunately just two options, because let's say we have X hundred peta hashes available, I can guarantee you there is two options. The one option is we are selling at the same price. This is what we will do, and the product will be sold out probably within days again. Nothing we can do about. The alternative would be to increase the price by a factor of 2, but we don't think that's fair to our clients to do it this way, and because it will also maybe just turn out to be that good. So unfortunately, with only a given amount of hash rate in stock, I will probably go. We will go. Okay, maybe we'll limit the amount of hash rate we sell per user.
Okay, that's probably a good plan actually. I think most people here would adopt that. There's a bit of a time lag, I apologise here.
We can't hear you at the moment.
I think it's frozen. Do you hear me now, Marco? Yes, okay. I was just saying, I think that the adoption of maybe having restricted flow or contract size may be a good way to to give a bit more longevity to it. But the other question, of course, is that Bitcoin is one cryptocurrency. You have other that is the specialized mining required for that, whereas you have the GPU mining, which you've touched on. So, what other altcoins do you think? I mean, people, the money will go where they can see a return, of course. So I suppose some of the altcoins are going to actually be a very, very important topic here.
Yes, of course. So GPU mining is looking better. We have secured huge quantities of GPUs. So GPU mineable coins such as Ether, such as Ether Classic or Zcash, we will have better supply, and the market is still open for these kind of products. Another interesting coin is Dash. Dash, I think, has very good properties as a cryptocurrency as well. The problem we see with Dash at the moment, or it's not actually a problem about Dash, it's kind of about the mining, is that the new mining equipment is not yet out. And we do not want to sell outdated equipment because we know there is superior equipment available in the market soon, so that's why our market is closed. We are talking with the manufacturer about buying this hardware in huge quantities, and as soon as it's available, and our mining farm will allow Dash mining again.
Okay, thank you, Marco. One last question here. Yes, please.
I have two questions. The first is, are we going to consider making Ethereum contracts open-ended? And the second is, what's going to happen when Bitcoin halves the next halving term?
Okay, two good questions, Marco. One, of course, is because obviously there's another player on the block now that's promoting that they offer Ethereum with open-ended contracts. And are we going to consider, I mean, it's Genesis themselves are going to consider offering Ethereum with an open-ended contract as well?
Yes, that's a little bit of a tricky question for one reason, because the GPUs that we are using, they are consumer GPUs. So by far, this is the best option you have if you want to mine for like 2 years. These GPUs were never made for running 24/7, but we found kind of by testing, you can use them for, let's say, like 2 years or so. So any form of lifetime contract with GPUs inevitably will bring the problem that these GPUs at some point in time they will break. In addition to that, at some point in time, so we potentially could offer lifetime contract, or we can kind of just sell the hardware and say, okay, it's not our problem. But the risk that the hardware breaks is then with a third party. So we will no one give someone the GPU with a promise that this GPU will hold for 10 years or 20 years. That would not be correct from us to do that, because we know these GPUs, they will break at some point in time. The other point is, which might be a bit, the Ethereum will at some point in time, or that at least what they want to do, switch to proof of stake. Yeah, that's what they announced. Unfortunately, for some reason, they announced it. They're like, yeah, we would like to switch to proof of stake. The time frame for that is 1 year, and from day one on, is kind of the time frame is now 1 year. So whenever you ask them, it's kind of, yeah, it will be there in 1 year. Now they actually say like, oh, well, in 1.5 years. So it's a bit, but it doesn't sound honest if we say, oh, we are doing lifetime or whatever for a very long time, but actually we know they are going to switch to proof of stake. So that might not be the best. So that's why we said kind of let's have a package for 2 years. This is a time span where we are kind of, let's say, confident that mining will work and that the hardware will last. So that's the package price. And you don't have these deductions, these daily maintenance fees, which is kind of hard to understand from a customer perspective. So package-wise, this is, yeah, we actually tried those versions for a short period of time, and package-wise, this is more attractive for our user base.
Okay, thank you. That's for sure, because if you have open-ended contracts, you have to have a maintenance fee that is extracted from that particular thing. Yeah.
Of course, you have to factor not only into the maintenance fee, if you're really honest about that, not only the electricity, but also the breakage of the hardware, because after 2 years, you need to fully replace the hardware, or at least a good chunk of the hardware. So you have to factor that in, and no one really can tell you how much that is. So, yeah.
Okay. The second part of the question, sorry, I didn't quite hear that.
What will happen when Bitcoin halves?
Oh, yes. Of course, 2024, when Bitcoin halves. Sorry, 2020. Sorry, when Bitcoin halves, the mining blocks now will halve in 2020. Halved in 2016. It's going to halve again in 2020.
Yes, that's correct. That's correct. In 2020, there will be another halving. As I said, we are. That was kind of in order to keep the number of mined coins up to this limit of 21 million. Of course, the number of coins that are mined over a given period have to reduce over time. If it would be constant, obviously would have no upper limit, no upper cap. So the upper cap requires that the amount of coins that are mined in each period is slowing down, and this was implemented by Satoshi in a way that every 4 years there is this famous block halving. On the other hand, we know that the transaction fees will go up. And we have seen that if you look into the history, when I started, kind of the mining fees were kind of like 0.2% or so of all the coins you were mining, so it was kind of completely irrelevant. And these days, kind of it's like 10%, 15% of the income you were getting is from transaction fees. And now with segregated witnesses, and by that kind of a little bit larger blocks enabled, there is a good chance that the component of the transaction fees is increasing further. And if you think about it, like let's say you have $50,000 in Bitcoin, and you can kind of transfer $50,000 in value from one corner of the world to the other corner within a couple of minutes for like, let's say $5 or so, whatever the transaction fees are in the future, that's a good value. Yeah, I mean, I can transfer $50,000 within minutes around the globe. That's amazing. Yeah, no banking system, no Western Union will allow me that kind of feature. So transaction fees are going to rise. Hopefully the Bitcoin coders at some point in time will also agree to a little bit larger block size. So which would also help to, I mean, there's always two options to increase the total transaction fees. It's kind of either processing more transactions or that the transaction price increases. I hope the transaction price increases not too much, because that will rule out a number of use cases. Ether is going a little bit different way. They have this gas limit which can be controlled by the miners, and also in Ether the component of transaction fees and the value of transaction fees is going up. So in the long term, transaction fees will take over and will replace the block reward. That's the whole idea from such a question.
Okay, well thank you, Marco. We have limited time here. So I'm going to thank you for your taking the time out of your Sunday and your very exceptional busy schedule. And I really appreciate from our company the collaboration that we have with you and your team. We really respect and honour. We look forward to the further collaboration regarding what's happening with of course the Bitcoin mining area. What's the most advantaged position to move to? Plan B, whether it's Ethereum or maybe it's another coin that you've got on the agenda to mine for, so everyone, your members and our members, can benefit from that. So with that, I want everyone to sort of thank Dr. Marco Krohn for taking his time out here on the schedule for turning up here today.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Marco. Have a great one. Thank you.